Describe how he treated you.
I felt like I could talk to him, like he was a normal person, not a celebrity, very welcoming.
Robert treated me very well. Charismatic, funny.
Extremely caring. He's hard not to like.
It was very romantic to me.
Our relationship was beautiful in the beginning, but didn't know about the storm on the horizon.
He would break you down. He would turn around and say, I'm the only one that loves you. I'm the only one who cares about you. I was mentally drained.
Robert feels as if he's invincible. I can't be touched. And in hindsight, in society, we kind of made him feel that way.
Hi guys, I want to jump on here and talk about this docuseries, Surviving R. Kelly. First of all, really my heart goes out to the victims. This has to be a very difficult thing to live through, but I want to talk about some things that stood out for me. First of all, I hear a lot of people keep saying that they don't care about black little girls and they don't care about us and all of this stuff. I want you to define they, because when you're saying they, it's implying that outsiders, people of other races, the system, whoever, don't care about black little girls. But I want to know, who is they? Because R. Kelly was brought to trial. His biggest supporters were African American women. They were there protesting. They were there at the trial. As a matter of fact, one of the victims met R. Kelly at the trial. She was there supporting him and telling him it's okay, and it was encouraging him. This is by no means saying that this girl deserved anything that she got. This is completely separate. I just want to explain to you how we are trying to put this off on somebody else when it's us ourselves. Okay. Also, the very victim withdrew the testimony. Now, again, this is nothing of her fault because she had other people around her encouraging. She didn't have protection. But you're going to trial and the very victim is saying that, hey, that wasn't me. So again, it comes back to, who are we speaking about when we are saying they? To this day, R. Kelly's biggest supporters are African American women. If you look at his concerts, it's all African American women. I even have Facebook friends bragging about going to his concerts. I want to know who is streaming his music right now to this day. I guess it's a 50-year-old Caucasian man. Then we have Aaliyah's parents denying everything, saying that she wasn't left alone with R. Kelly. And I understand they want to protect their daughter's legacy, but to what extent? We're going to let a predator run off and continue to do this to young children? Also, we had the marriage certificate of R. Kelly and Aaliyah, the legal document. And we still had artists working with him. Now let's get to the infamous sex tape. Who saw it? Who watched it? Who watched this underage girl have sex with this grown man? If it were my daughter, I sure wouldn't want people to see it. But yet, all these people watched that sex tape. I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Who's in his camp encouraging him, egging him on? African American men. I mean, I can go on and on and on. But let me ask a question. If an Asian girl is violated, who is quite naturally going to be her biggest supporters? The Asian community. If an Indian girl is violated, who is going to be her biggest supporters? The Indian community. So let's not leave this up to somebody else to resolve. We have to start taking responsibility for our own actions. Everybody that protected this man looked like the victim, or either it could have been the victim's family member. And I just wanted to point that out because when the situation happened with Aaliyah and the marriage, I was kind of like, but I still continued to listen to his music. But after the sex tape, I was pretty much like, I think he's a predator. And what sealed the deal for me is these girls coming out. But you still have people out there right now protecting him and saying that, oh, they're clout chasing. I don't care if they are clout chasing. I don't even care at this point. This man preyed upon innocent women and children. And you still have people questioning whether this actually happened or not. Even his own ex-wife is stating the same story that all of these women are stating. Nothing is deviating. The story is exactly the same over and over and over from each one of these women. Yet we are still questioning it. He's sitting up here on national TV saying define teenager. He is not even going as hard as his fans are in defending himself. Now, I'm not the type of person to separate people by race. I believe there is one race, and that is the human race. But for the people who are saying they don't care about us, I really want you to explain to me, who do you mean by they? And also, what are they supposed to be doing as opposed to what we are doing? Now, for the second half of this video, I want to address what another group of people are saying. They're saying, why did the victim stay so long? Why did Andrea Kelly stay in the relationship so long? Why didn't she change her last name? They're clout chasing. And I want to hit on that because people don't really understand narcissist abuse. Okay, narcissist abuse is a very insidious type of abuse. It's not where someone just comes out and they're abusive immediately. It's a gradual thing. Now, most cult leaders score high on the narcissism scale. So how do you think a person comes to the point of drinking cyanide and taking their own life due to someone being so convincing that they can convince you to move out to an isolated place in the world and pretty much end your own life? You see, this is not new. You have cult leaders that have slept with minors and convinced their parents that this was okay, that this was normal. And the loving parents believed them and gave up their children to please God. So it's really not surprising that people can be deeply deceived. So I want to take you through some things that narcissists do. And R. Kelly displayed a lot of these types of behavior. So first of all, you have the masking, okay? It's called the masking, where they are covering who they truly are in the inside. They're charismatic, they're high energy, a lot of people like them. They have this type of personality that just draws you to them, okay? And this is the first part of it. You look up to this person. You really want to be around this person, okay? And once they see the admiration that you have for them, then they maybe tell you a secret, which R. Kelly did. He told some of his victims about his molestation. So they want you to feel sorry for them. Okay, this is a big tactic that they use. If you notice, Tina Turner stayed with Ike Turner so long because he told her, everyone walked out on me. You are the only one. And they want you to feel like you are the only one that understands them. They want you to feel like you are their only hope. And what this tactic does is it draws a lot of guilt. You feel really guilty for leaving them. Then there's isolation, where you keep the victim in your world. They're cut off from family, they're cut off from friends, and you really don't even realize the abuse that you are enduring because there's no point of reference. Sometimes when you repeat what they've done to you out loud, you're like, wow, this is what happened to me. When you're dealing with the narcissist, they are easily able to gaslight you. And the term gaslight came from a movie called Gaslight back in 1944, where a man manipulated his wife to the point where she questioned her own sanity. And people do this every day. It's just that some are more convincing than others. So for instance, let's say if you had a guy or a girl that cheated on you, they may turn it around on you and say, how dare you go through my phone? How dare you check my messages? That was your fault. You caused the problem. And by the end of the conversation, you're apologizing to them. Or they may say, oh, the text message she sent, that wasn't a big deal. She was saying, I love you. It's just a friend. She always say, I love you. What? You are crazy. What is wrong with you? Why are you so jealous? It's not a big deal. So they'll turn it around on you and make you look like you're the problem. This type of manipulation is pure evil. A lot of people that suffer from this level of manipulation, a lot of times they want to kill themselves. So if you're a person who you may never been suicidal, all of a sudden you get into a relationship and you feel suicidal, chances are you're being manipulated by someone who is really narcissistic. And I think at least 2 of these victims said that they want to kill themselves. I think Drea and another girl wanted to end their own life. That's heavy duty manipulation. And for the most part, narcissists suffered heavy abuse themselves. And to be honest, you have to be very careful with the narcissist because they are extremely vindictive. If you do something to them, they are coming back at you. Okay, they are getting their lick back, and chances are they're not going to play fair. This is another intimidation tactic. And it doesn't matter if you try to hurt them or not. It just matters that they hurt. So if you make a mistake and let's say you spilled coffee everywhere, if this makes them angry, even if you did it on purpose or not, the fact is, I'm angry, I'm upset, you have to pay for it. And don't get it twisted. A lot of people are narcissistic and manipulative. Chances are you dealt with a person who has these characteristics. The only thing with R. Kelly is the amount of money and fame and power that he has makes it much more easy to manipulate a person, especially when you're starstruck and you're young. Grown women all the time get manipulated like this. Grown men all the time get manipulated like this. But when you mix all the fame and fortune in, it's easy to lead a person astray, especially if you're a 14-year-old child. And I'm not saying I don't think that they were privy to some of his ways. I'm just saying I don't think they realized the level of beast that they were dealing with. Next, you have the low to no empathy factor. So it's really easy to hurt a person. You're so engulfed in your own feelings, in your own hurt, in your own pain. You don't even care about somebody else's pain, or you have very little sympathy for them. This makes it very easy to abuse a person and look at a person like a pawn rather than a human being. You also find that there is a double standard. So you're able to flirt, cheat, do whatever, come and go as you please, but the other person can't. And this goes back to caring about your own feelings. So when that person leaves, you're scared. Who are they going to look at? Who are they going to be with? Who's going to turn their eye? So the perpetrator can't risk that. So even further, R. Kelly was able to manipulate the masses by putting out a song called I Admit It. And the whole song he was deflecting. Look at me. Look at my hurt. Look at my pain. I can't read or write. I've been molested. And that's all fine and dandy. We can address that. But that doesn't justify or negate the fact that you abuse these women. And finally, I want to talk about how narcissists have this grandiose view of themselves. They are very high-minded. They are very arrogant. And this is what people typically think of when they think of narcissists. Neo Soul talked about how he had to cancel his tour with R. Kelly. R. Kelly took up all 7 of the dressing rooms. And also, you couldn't be in the hall when R. Kelly came. It was like a code red or code blue or something like that. Everybody had to clear the hall. K. Michelle talked about how he had this shark tank. And after the shark died, he ended up putting women in this tank. And they were on salary. And what they'll do is they'll kind of like mime and mimic your movement. and the women were taught to only respond to women. They wouldn't respond to men. All of this behavior is very grandiose, and also it displays jealousy, which is a common trait of a narcissistic person. And narcissistic people tend to gravitate toward people who are vulnerable or easily manipulated. And that's why I think he chooses younger girls, because it's easier to mold them. And I don't think that all the girls he deal with are manipulated in the beginning. I think some of them just don't have the role models, or they don't realize that a man has more to offer than Gucci bags and fame. So I think a lot of this too is just immaturity, maybe, you know, not having that male role model or father figure showing them how a woman is to be treated. So that wraps it up with the narcissism piece. But I want to address one thing before I go, because I think it's important. A lot of people said separate the artistry from the individual's personal life. This doesn't make sense to me at all. First of all, even when you apply for a job, they look at your characteristics. They go on Facebook pages and social media to see what type of person you are. So if we think of this in a different term, let's say if a person was a racist and this person acted upon their racism by doing violent things to minorities, would you continue to fund them? Would you continue to support their movies or their books? This doesn't make sense at all to me. R. Kelly was able to pay off victims and continue to abuse other women because of the money and the power that he had. So you are overtly funding that. I just want R. Kelly to get help. I feel like that he dealt with some trauma in his past, and now he is passing on that behavior to other underage women. Okay, guys, so that is it for this video. I thank you so much for watching. As always, I love you. Please share this video, subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next video. See ya.